Hello, my name is Jennifer Covell. I graduated from Tufts in 1986, and I am president of the Tufts Alumni Association. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 2021 Alumni Awards ceremony. This year, while we are holding a virtual ceremony due to safety guidelines surrounding the COVID pandemic, we hope all of you are staying healthy and safe. To make the most of this online experience, please type comments into the panel to the right of your screen. These will scroll during the event and provide a great way to connect with all of us who are joining as we watch this ceremony together. I'd like to welcome the honorees, their family and friends, fellow alumni, and others from the Tufts community. Welcome also to President Tony Monaco. The Alumni Awards were established in 1941 to celebrate the achievements, service, and dedication of truly extraordinary Tufts alumni. Thank you to the Awards Committee of the Alumni Council for your work in selecting this year's honorees, and to committee co-chairs Maria Madison, Peter Broder, and Peter Bronk for your leadership of this committee. Thank you to the many nominators who throw a spotlight on the amazing work of our alumni. Nominations are accepted year-round, so please let us know at any time if you have a candidate in mind who should be considered for an award. This year's honorees, whose names are listed on the screen, represent many schools and departments at Tufts and are leaders in various industries. Their work has touched the lives of many. They each have wonderful stories to share, so I encourage you to follow up with them after this event and again to interact with them by making comments during the celebration. One way to stay in touch with your fellow Jumbos is by updating your profile in the Tufts Alumni Directory. I strongly encourage you to do so. It is now my pleasure to introduce Anthony Monaco, the 13th president of Tufts University. As you may know, Tony joined Tufts in 2011, coming from Oxford University, where he was a top administrative leader as the Pro-Vice Chancellor for Planning and Resources. Tony also has had a distinguished career in the sciences. A graduate of Princeton University and Harvard Medical School, he has led the pathway of innovation in using genetics to help unravel diseases such as muscular dystrophy and autism. And as most of you know by now, he has done an incredible job of leading the university through the difficulties presented by the pandemic. Thank you, Tony, for being with us today.
Hello. Thank you for logging on as we recognize these extraordinary honorees and celebrate with their families and friends, our alumni leaders, and other members of the Tufts community. We are proud of the many achievements of this year's honorees, which range from promoting accessible and equitable education to managing the operations of a major construction company to advocating for better prevention and treatment of cardiac disease in women. To our honorees, congratulations to all of you. It's an honor to count you among our alumni. And we know you could not have done it alone. To our faculty and staff, I'd like to recognize the invaluable role you play. The support you provide extends beyond our alumni honorees to our current students and future Jumbos. Thank you. I'm also grateful to the Alumni Association for sponsoring this important program. The association has been recognizing outstanding alumni at Tufts each year since 1941. The members of the awards committee spent many hours reviewing nominations and selecting these outstanding alumni. Thanks to all of them, and to Maria Madison, Peter Broder, and Peter Bronk for their leadership of the committee. The pool of nominees has remained extremely competitive over the years. Thank you, nominators, for your time and effort in putting forth such impressive candidates, and thanks to all that submitted letters of support. This year's honorees have demonstrated outstanding leadership in their careers, service in their communities, and service to the university. They're a remarkable group representing Tufts at its very best. To our honorees, congratulations again to all of you. We know that as you continue in your work, you will accomplish much, and we will continue to follow your careers with great interest. I look forward to seeing you back on the Hill again soon. Thanks again for joining us to celebrate these outstanding alumni.
Thank you, President Monaco. I am pleased to introduce the 2021 University Alumni Association's Alumni Award honorees. There are 11 honorees among 6 award categories. I will announce your name and read your citation, and then you will share brief remarks. Nicholas Gordon, Young Alumni Achievement Award. Nicholas, you were the first graduate of Tufts University School of Dental Medicine's inaugural Doctoral of Dental Medicine, Master of Public Health dual degree program in the academic year of 2012. Since then, you have provided excellent dental care for children, adolescents, and adults while giving practical tips on keeping mouths healthy for life. As co-chair of the National Dental Association Global Oral, you have also led efforts to make oral health care universally accessible, especially for those most vulnerable to oral disease and the underserved. You have maintained contact with TUSDM as the department's clinical instructor, a role in which you continue to inspire students to open their eyes to opportunities in dental public health. On behalf of the Tufts University Alumni Association, it is a great honor to recognize your achievements in enhancing dental care and universal access by presenting you with the 2021 Young Alumni Achievement Award. Congratulations.
Good afternoon, and thank you to the Tufts University Alumni Association for the Young Alumni Achievement Award. Thank you to the Awards Committee and to the Office of Alumni Relations. I am especially grateful to my friends and colleagues and former instructors at Tufts School of Dental Medicine, particularly Dr. Mark Nearing and Professor Catherine Dolan, for your mentorship over the years and for nominating me for this award. In the 11th grade, my father and I had the opportunity to participate in an outreach trip to Kingston, Jamaica with my church. This was the first time where I saw abject poverty up close and personal. After reflecting on this trip, I realized that I wanted to pursue a profession where I would be of service to others, particularly those impoverished and vulnerable populations. As an undergraduate student at Morehouse College, I received a strong liberal arts education. But more than that, it was expected of every Morehouse man to be a leader in whatever profession or discipline we found ourselves in. We were expected to stand up for social justice and equality and to be a champion for the marginalized. I had considered a career in dentistry, and as I was beginning to prepare to apply to schools, I remember receiving a copy of the Tufts School of Dental Medicine Alumni magazine and reading about the joint degree program in dental medicine and public health that was being developed. Little did I know that years later, I will be the first to graduate from that program. Although Tufts School of Dental Medicine was very challenging, my class, the class of 2012, worked together so that we all could succeed. If one person put together a good study guide, he or she would make it available to the entire class. I had never seen this level of collaboration in school before. We had worked hard, but we also had fun. I am grateful to Tufts. Not only did Tufts provide me with the education and tools to be an excellent clinician and public health leader, Tufts brought out the best in me. Since my Tufts years, I have had the opportunity to work on local and global service projects. I have had the opportunity to speak with policymakers about the importance of universal dental coverage and have been an advocate for increasing access to quality dental care for vulnerable populations. My global outreach efforts have been focused on Haiti, where I have had the opportunity to work with the University of Haiti School of Dentistry in promoting oral health in rural parts of the country and providing oral health prevention and treatment to those who need it. A proud moment came when I led a team of dentists and dental students from Tufts School of Dental Medicine to Haiti, where we worked alongside Haitian dentists and dental students and nurses in providing care to a rural community in Léogâne, Haiti. It was a beautiful sight to see. Us working together as brothers and sisters in solidarity to provide care to the community. Recently, I founded Oral Health Guardians, LLC, which is committed to the mission of increasing access to equitable oral health care for children and young adults. We provide direct patient care through Camp Springs Pediatric Dentistry, which is our new pediatric oral health care center located in Camp Springs, Maryland. I stand on the shoulders of a host of mentors, friends, and family who have paved the way for me. My parents, Miss Gwendolyn Gordon and Dr. Alan Gordon, have been my loyal supporters from day one. They provided my brother and I such a strong foundation that we had no other choice but to go up. My mom has been a public school educator and administrator for over 45 years, and my dad, who is a dentist, has been providing dental care to our community for over 40 years. They have provided support and love for me all of my life, and I cannot begin to think where I would be without them. I thank God for my parents, and I dedicate this award to them. Thank you to my Tufts family for this Young Alumni Achievement Award.
Robert Ofoedo, Young Alumni Service Award. Robert, it is with great enthusiasm that we grant you with the 2021 Young Alumni Service Award. After graduating from Tufts class of 2014, you obtained a master's in computer and information sciences from Boston University in 2016. Since 2018, you have worked as an IT support specialist for Choate, Hall, and Stewart, LLP. Shortly after the Tufts campus was evacuated in March 2020, you put your passion for helping students who were experiencing a sense of loneliness, stress, and burnout related to the pandemic and its impact on their lives and education. You organized a group of recent alumni to develop a series of kicking game meetings for students to share how the Africana community played a role in their development, listen to student concerns and fears, and provide practical solutions and resources to assist them. The meetings increased Black student engagement, mitigating Black burnout on campus, and helped to position and organize Black students for social and professional success during a difficult time. Your intuitive perception of this need and your commitment to the Africana community at Tufts, despite your personal, professional, and worldly engagements, truly exemplify what it means to be a Jumbo. Robert, thank you for fulfilling the Jumbo values of service, community, and leadership that are held so highly by the Tufts University Alumni Association. Congratulations.
Hello all, my name is Rob, and apparently I won an award. Thank you, Tufts. Thank you, Selection Committee. Thank you, whomever, for gracing me with this award. I'm here because of the ties that bind. The ties that drew me back to school to lend a hand. Ties like Katrina Moore. Ties like Amy McDonald. Ties that reach back into the school's history like Ed Swan, The Godfather. Ties like Natalie Wubin, who both of them, Ed and Natalie, helped me try to craft this program a bit better to serve students. Ties to my to people in my range from 2010 to 2014. People like Montez Pascal, people like Hermeto Benkira, people like Marcel, my guy, my homies, Marcel, AJ, Nelson, Ernie, Clint, Calvin, Edgar, Moon, James, Tufts football in general, Coach Savetti, Coach Samco, Coach Fusillo, Coach Davenport, RIP. Fellow athletes such as Kwame, RIP. Scott Blumenthal, you know, the list goes on and on. And then to the future graduates, such people such as Noble, Shionen, Destiny Port, Nick and Gideon, or I believe it's Gibson on the soccer team. My bad, Gibson. But because of all these ties that intermingle with each other, that's the reason why I'm here. Because I'm using what I have to serve as a example of what's possible if you decide to finally tap into what has already been available to you. We live in an era where everything is supposed to be real quick. I'm a fan of slow roasting. I'm a fan of the smoker. I'm a fan of the oven, home cooked meal. The burger from Burger King tastes good, but the burger on the grill tastes 10 times better, and we all know this. The ties that bind are some of the strongest forces that we have in the universe. Stronger than titanium, stronger than Kevlar, but we can never let go of them, because it leaves such an imprint on ourselves that we act different the second we cross paths with the individual. I'm glad that someone will see this, and apparently I'm going to be that person. Hey, wild pressure, don't blame me, blame the selection committee. I'm not the guy. But thank you all. Much appreciated. Do your best. Do good wherever you go. And peace, health, wealth, blessings to you and yours. Thank you.
Carmen Arsbowen, Distinguished Achievement Award. Carmen, demonstrating an exceptional academic and professional career, you received a Master of Laws from Suffolk University Law School in 2006 and a Master of Arts in Law and Diplomacy from Fletcher in 2008. Your career has strong foundations in community building and relationship networks, from your roles at the Public Policy Institute to now as the Chief Operating Officer at the Partnership Incorporated. With engagement and communication at the core of your work, you have developed numerous programming and trainings for various community leaders related to community empowerment during your time as project director of One Massachusetts at the Public Policy Institute. During your role as Governor Patrick's Director of Personnel and Administration, you created one of the most inclusive administrations in history. During your tenure at the partnership, you've worked with over 1,000 professionals of color from 200 companies, further demonstrating your dedication to establishing the foundation of inclusion and sustainability and sustainable community building. You are highly praised for your exceptional community building skills and your ability to not simply make connections, but to build substantive relationships rooted in shared values and experiences. You were described as, and I quote, a shining example of how commitment to community strengthens our economy and sustains professional excellence. You are a testament to resiliency and commitment to community, and are a championing voice for immigrants, women, people of color, and other underrepresented groups. Your community engagement extends beyond just your professional experience. You are on the Board of Trustees, an executive committee member, and chair of inaugural Diversity and Inclusion Committee of Buckingham, Brown and Nichols, a day school in Cambridge, Massachusetts. On behalf of the Tufts University Alumni Association, it is a great honor to recognize your achievements and dedication to Tufts community values by presenting you with the 2021 Distinguished Achievement Award. Congratulations.
Only in the US could a female immigrant of color with a heavy accent, no network, choose to pursue a career, serve a governor, lead on boards, be recognized by her peers, and influence those in power. For people of color and immigrants, resiliency is not an experience, but a way of life. We must constantly push through doors, adapt to new and foreign environments just for an opportunity to thrive. These are the lessons I learned from my parents and that I pass on to my daughter. My parents come from very humble beginnings in Mexico. My father dropped out of college, and my mother only finished elementary school so she could provide for her siblings. But by forming a family, building strong networks, and working hard, my parents built a very successful multi-state business. As the youngest child and only daughter, I was born with privilege and access in Mexico. I am the product of the efforts, and they're one of my inspirations for my professional pursuits and community involvement. I came to the US to pursue a grad school education, attended the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy. And yes, I am a very proud Jumbo. When I first moved here, I was afraid but confident in my ability to forge my own path, as so many immigrants have done before me. As a stranger in a strange land, I invested my time in my local community groups and the Latinx community. I started attending professional and political networking events, even when I felt that I had nothing to contribute. But slowly, I realized my contributions were of value to my community and country. No longer a stranger, I was building a new life here. The US has given me so much and has shown me how the sky is really the limit, especially compared to the opportunities in my native Mexico. I would never take for granted the opportunities afforded me by this country. I take very seriously my role in providing others with the same or even better opportunity and access than I received. I have been able to help improve the lives of many who, like me, started from zero, particularly professionals of color and immigrants. Here, I found my voice and how to use it. Every immigrant with a story like mine doesn't just want to enjoy America's opportunities. We want to play a role in continuing America's exceptionalism. We know that the US will continue thriving if we, as a new generation, continue pushing for evolution, inclusion, justice, and equity. We know that we're better off when we all have a voice, can contribute, and belong. We are proud to say that we live here by choice, and we bring our best so that America can be her best. Thank you, Tufts University, for this very special recognition. I wouldn't be here today without the education, community, networks, and friendships that the Fletcher School has provided me. To Jim, thank you for supporting me and believing in me before anyone else did. To Pilar, I love you always.
Guadalupe Phillips, Distinguished Achievement Award. Guadalupe, after receiving your Master of Arts in Law and Diplomacy and a PhD from Fletcher in 1998 and 2010, respectively, you embarked on an impressive corporate career. Formerly the CFO of Empresas Cablevision, you joined Empresas ICA and successfully recovered the firm from the brink of bankruptcy in under 3 years. You are now the CEO of Empresas ICA, which remains one of the largest construction companies in Mexico, with operations that range throughout Latin America. Your service in the private sector extends far beyond your professional experience. You're on the board of directors for several companies and organizations, as well as member of the board of trustees of the Dolores Olmeda Museum. You are noted as an amazing success story in the annals of women leadership and are applauded for your resilience, stamina, courage, and leadership qualities. You continue to be a role model within the Fletcher community, having given a well-received lecture in 2018 for Fletcher's Institute for Business in the Global Context Speakers Series. On behalf of the Tufts University Alumni Association, it is a great honor to recognize your achievements and dedication to Tufts by presenting you with the 2021 Distinguished Achievement Award. Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Guadalupe Felix. I'm an alumni of the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy. I'm class of 99 in my master's and class of 2010 my PhD. I spent 3 wonderful years in the Tufts University campus studying at Fletcher back in the 90s. It seems a really long time ago. It was a fantastic experience. I am a lawyer by training, and I really wanted to change my professional orientation. And Fletcher was a fantastic environment and a fantastic experience of really choosing what I wanted to do. I met Professor Laurent Jacques. He really did have an impact on the decisions I made, the PhD, what I wanted to focus my academic interest on, and I am very, very thankful for that. Finishing my master's, I went to work at Enron, and it was a fantastic time to work at Enron. It was a company that was changing everything. They were putting fiber optics across the US. After that, I was offered a position in Mexico to come back to the largest media company in Mexico, where I spent 16 years of my professional life really doing a lot of everything. And sometimes it sounds incredible, but Enron taught me a lot of things of what could be done in the sense of new business experiences. And I spent 16 years at Televisa. We did many transactions that really changed the Televisa's business. In 2016, I was offered the opportunity to restructure the largest construction company in Mexico. It was a fantastic opportunity, a very complex financial problem, which is something that I really looked forward to doing. I had very little experience in operating companies, let alone a construction company. Clearly, my experience in Enron was very useful for me. I've been 6 years into the job. I started restructuring the company. We have moved on to be probably the largest company in Mexico at this point, building many different projects such as the Maya train, the Dos Bocas refinery. We do everything in mega infrastructure, which requires every type of skill I have probably learned across my life, not only at Fletcher but also in my previous professional experiences. So I'm honored and I'm humbled by this distinction. I think that living in Boston and studying at Fletcher is one of the highlights of my life. I arrived at Boston newly married, so it was very nice starting my married life with my husband of 26 years today. We have 2 wonderful kids who already have seen what our life was at the beginning in Boston. And I think everything that you do in life, your student years, teach you so much about what you're going to face further on. And for me, Tufts University and Fletcher were a very big part of who I am today. I have many friends from across the world I made at Fletcher. We spent many hours at the cafeteria and at the library and really going through all the academics that we wanted, but many laughs. And I miss those days, those very simple days of being a student, but it really did help me understand the world. So I am very thankful for all of you, for the Alumni Association, and thank you very much for this distinction. I'm very, very honored. Thank you.
I will now introduce Peter Broder, Awards Committee Co-Chair, who will announce our next 4 honorees.
Thank you, Maria. Lydia Spinelli, After graduating from Tufts University in 1972, you earned a master's degree and a doctorate from the Teachers College at Columbia University. Since then, your career has been rooted in an accessible and equitable education that is based not only on academic achievement, but on social emotional learning as well. For 30 years, you have served as the director of the Manhattan Brick Church School, where you were named director after teaching there for 5 years. Your passion for child development through education is exemplified by you being the first early childhood educator to be named to the accreditation committee for the New York State Association of Independent Schools. In 2011, you founded Summer Steps, a preparatory program for low-income 4 to 5-year-old children to prepare them for independent schools in New York City. 27 independent schools now partner with Summer Steps and financially support the program. You then went on to found the African Dream Academy with Reverend Samuel Enders, who grew up in poverty and overcame hardships to eventually earn a master's degree in the US. Together, you started a school in Liberia from nursery to 12th grade, as well as a vocational school for adults and a pediatric clinic for children. You have been described as, quote, a passionate, top-notch leader and thinker who has positively impacted thousands of students and educators. On behalf of the Tufts University Alumni Association, it is a great honor to recognize your achievements and dedication to Tufts community values by presenting you with the 2021 Distinguished Achievement Award. Congratulations.
Greetings from Liberia, West Africa. I am at African Dream Academy in Painesville, outside of Monrovia. I'm honored and very grateful to receive this Tufts Alumni Award. I attended Tufts from 1968 to 1972. Entering Tufts in 1968 was a whole new world for me and for the country. It wasn't an easy one. That was the year Martin Luther King and Bobby Kennedy were assassinated. There were riots in Paris by students and workers. In the US, there were protests against racism, against the Vietnam War, in favor of feminism and ecology. Our male classmates feared being drafted. No 18-year-olds in the US have had to fear that since. And if you didn't experience it, it's hard to imagine the impact that it had. Our social life was mostly talking, some movies, and a lot of protesting. Parties in the traditional sense were few and far between. But what Tufts gave me was far more important than a traditional college experience. My best friends for life, and a keen desire to make a difference in some small way. I didn't know at Tufts that I would become an early childhood educator, and I regret not attending Elliott Pearson. That career choice came to me later when I taught in early childhood schools and studied at Columbia University's Teachers College. In my 36 years as director at the Brick Church School, I worked to professionalize early childhood education, partly by joining the New York State Association of Independent Schools, as I believed that we could be judged by the same standards as elementary and high schools for accreditation. We're not preschools, we're schools. My other goal was to make an excellent education more accessible, so I greatly increased the financial aid budget and joined Early Steps, which helps to place children of color in independent school kindergartens in New York City. When I turned 60 and started thinking about my legacy, I knew there was more to do. So I founded Summer Steps, which is a summer program to help 4 and 5-year-old children gain more knowledge and feel more confident as they enter independent school kindergartens, getting students from early steps. And then I also helped to found African Dream Academy right here. It's a tuition-free independent school. I'm at ADA now because last Saturday we celebrated our first 12th grade graduation. We started 10 years ago with 144 children in grades nursery through 4th grade. And now we have over 1,500 students in grades nursery through 12th grade. Liberia is one of the 5 poorest countries in the world, and it's part of the history of slavery in the US. As the American Colonization Society sent the freed slaves here in the 1800s, displacing the indigenous people, which eventually led to 2 civil wars, completely destroying the infrastructure of the country. The problems here are overwhelming, but that tough spirit to want to make a difference has led me to make an impact on 1,500 students who wouldn't be in school otherwise. Thank you, Tufts.
Suzanne Steinbaum. Graduating from Tufts in 1990 with a degree in child development, psychology, and dance, you went on to become a physician, following a career path chosen by many in your family. After training in cardiology, you recognized the systemic deficiencies in detection and care provided to female patients, and you went on to become a passionate and nationally recognized advocate for better prevention of cardiac disease in women. Along with maintaining an active clinical practice, you have served as the medical director for several hospital-based cardiac health centers and have given your time as a medical advisor and spokesperson for multiple advocacy organizations, including the Go Red Foundation of the American Heart Association. Leading a campaign of education and self-empowerment, you have presented numerous lectures and public service addresses around the country, appeared on national TV programs, including Good Morning America, and you are the author of articles both in the scientific literature and the popular press, including 2 best-selling books. Suzanne, your work has made a difference in the lives of countless women now and in the future. For your achievements, the Tufts University Alumni Association presents you with the 2021 Distinguished Achievement Award. Congratulations.
Hi, my name is Suzanne Steinbaum, and I am so honored and humbled to have received this Tufts Alumni Award. When I think back at Tufts, I think about the beginning of when I learned that I could do anything, that I can try and figure out all the things I loved and have them a part of my life. I was a dance minor and I would dance in the morning, chemistry classes in the afternoon, and had a wonderful experience as a child study major going to Tufts Boston Floating Hospital, where I got to do an internship. At that time, I was there as a child study major, rounding on pediatric patients, trying to teach them how to get through surgeries with the right mindset, understanding the process of surgery. And during that time, I thought to myself, maybe my calling is actually medicine. Well, cut to many years later, when I was in my medical residency, I was in the emergency room and I was seeing many women being brought in with heart disease. They were misdiagnosed. They were actually not treated the same as the male patients, and they didn't do as well. And at that time, there was no such thing as women in heart disease. I became a spokesperson for Go Red for Women through the American Heart Association at that time. I did one of the first preventive cardiology fellowships in this country, and developed 3 Women in Heart Health programs in New York City, all to combat all these bad statistics surrounding women and heart disease. I learned that not only could I be a doctor, but I could be a spokesperson, I could write a book, I could go on television, I could use all of those skills that I learned at Tufts University to make me exactly who I am today. Right now, I started a health tech company for equity of care for women across the country, to really be able to have access to prevention, to have proper diagnosis and proper treatment, no matter where they live, geography, independent of socioeconomic status. That's been my dream, to change healthcare in the country the way we know it. I want to thank you all so much for this moment. It truly, truly means so much to me.
Betsy Bush, you are a renowned developmental behavioral pediatrician who earned your medical degree at Tufts in 1975 and completed your residency at Boston Children's Hospital. In 1981, you returned to Tufts School of Medicine and Tufts Medical Center, where you served as both an educator and a clinician. Throughout the years, you have accepted numerous positions throughout the university and medical center and have demonstrated your skill in working as part of a team to solve complex problems, always with empathy and understanding. In 1984, you were invited to become a member of the prestigious American Academy of Pediatrics Committee on Scientific Meetings, and in 1989, you became the founding clinical and research director of the Center for Children with Special Needs at Tufts Medical Center, the first of its kind in New England. In 1992, you were elected to the Tufts Medical Alumni Executive Council, where you became president of the Tufts Medical Alumni Association. In your capacity as president of the Medical School Alumni, you were the liaison to the Tufts University Alumni Association, and your contributions and support of medical students are well documented. Elected to the Board of Trustees in 2010, you served for 10 years, never missing a meeting and always sharing your unique professional and personal perspectives to enhance the discussion. You never failed to volunteer to do whatever was needed. Your unwavering support and endorsement of the Tufts University Prison Initiative of Tisch College, which was created to further the education of incarcerated men in the Massachusetts correctional system, was critical to informing the larger Tufts community of the benefits of this program. Further, the acceptance and support of the program has led to the creation of the Tufts Education Reentry Network. The network gives formerly incarcerated men and women the opportunity to develop skills, earn college credits, and to work with Tufts undergraduates. This has proven to be life-changing for both the undergraduates and for those who have been incarcerated. Your professional and personal contributions to Tufts University School of Medicine, and the Tufts University Board of Trustees is unparalleled and is a testament to your lifelong commitment to the entire Tufts community. On behalf of the Tufts University Alumni Association, it is an honor to recognize your many contributions to Tufts by presenting you with the 2021 Distinguished Service Award. Congratulations.
I came to Boston 50 years ago to attend the Tufts University School of Medicine. My first day was underwhelming. I moved into an 8 by 10 foot cinder block dorm room in Posner Hall, and a dean welcomed our class by proudly announcing that Tufts was the first medical school in New England to exceed the customary 10% quota of women in our first year class. But I soon realized that my classmates were wonderful people and that our professors cared deeply about training us to harness our knowledge of medicine to a deep sense of compassion for those for whom we cared. They taught me that the trust each patient placed in me, a complete stranger, that trust conferred on me both a rare privilege and profound responsibility to continue to be curious, to learn everything I could, and to seek to diminish the burdens of those in need. I have always appreciated those lessons. I've tried to keep them at the center of my clinical practice, and I have loved Tufts ever since. Since medical school had been such a formative part of my career, I knew I wanted to reach back to Tufts and serve our students in whatever capacity I could. I began my career on the Tufts medical faculty, so initially I taught and mentored students at the medical school. Those opportunities brought many others. With the Tufts Medical Alumni Association, the University Alumni Association, and most recently, with the Tufts Board of Trustees and the Board of Advisors for the Tisch College of Civic Life. It has been rewarding, fascinating, and fun. I know I learned and received far more than I contributed. I befriended, and I treasure knowing some extraordinary students, faculty, staff, and alumni. Brilliant, accomplished, caring people, all deeply committed to Tufts University. I would recommend such service to you all. I've tried to make what the late John Lewis would have called a little good trouble along the way, and that's okay. Tufts is a community of learners who always strive to do more, care more, improve more, and in so doing, transform, educate, welcome, discover, and grow in the hope of making the world better tomorrow than it was yesterday. That's why I love Tufts and why I am deeply moved and grateful for this recognition from my peers on the Alumni Association. Thank you.
Scott Epstein, you were regarded by your peers as a remarkably talented medical student at Tufts School of Medicine. And following your fellowship training in pulmonary and critical care medicine, you returned to Tufts as a faculty member in the Department of Medicine. Your passion and belief in the transformational process of medical education led to the recognition of your innovative teaching and your commitment to educate students to be skilled clinicians, curious learners, and humble members of the medical profession. During 15 years as Dean of Education, you deftly led 2 major revisions of the medical school curriculum, each incorporating improved educational pedagogy, and most importantly, built to instill Tufts graduates with a passion for humanistic core values, community service, and civic engagement. As just one example, these efforts resulted in significant expansion of the Community Service Learning Program and a strong collaboration with the Tisch College of Civic Life. You played a key role in guiding the medical school through the many challenges of the pandemic. During this time, you also conceived of and implemented anti-racist work by an anti-racism task force for the curriculum. Importantly, your efforts contributed to the creation of a new anti-racism committee. Scott, on behalf of the Tufts University Alumni Association, it is a great honor to recognize your achievements and your dedicated service to Tufts by presenting you with the 2021 Distinguished Service Award. Congratulations.
My name is Scott Epstein. I'm a 1984 graduate of the Tufts University School of Medicine. With the exception of a 3-year pulmonary and critical care medicine fellowship at Boston University, I've had the very, very good fortune of spending my entire professional career at Tufts. And I'm deeply appreciative of those who took the time to nominate me for a Distinguished Service Award. Thanks to the selection committee for considering me worthy of such recognition. Now, if I'm going to be honest, and I still think there was a clerical error in selecting me, but if I'm going to be honest, this recognition should really go to the spectacularly large group of individuals who supported me over the last 42 years at Tufts. That support starts at home with my wife and my children, who provided the stability needed to sail the very stormy seas of medical education. That support is continued with a wonderful, wonderful group of colleagues at the medical school, fellow deans, staff, and faculty. It really seems that each one of them miraculously developed the ability to make me look good. They are magicians of the first order. And finally, what I've enjoyed most over the last 42 years at Tufts has been my role as a teacher in the classroom at the bedside. That was made possible by several thousand curious Tufts medical students, Tufts residents, and Tufts fellows who never stopped challenging me as an educator. Thanks to all of you. Well, I'll stop right there before someone realizes that there has been a clerical error. Thank you.
Please welcome Peter Brunk, who will announce our last three honorees.
Thank you, Peter. Jennifer O'Malley Dillon. The Washington Post credits you for transforming Joe Biden's campaign. And, according to the feature, you credit your first campaign experience thanks to your undergraduate experience at Tufts. You formerly served as the campaign manager of the Joe Biden-Kamala Harris 2020 campaign, a position that was announced in March 2020. You have previously served in leadership roles in campaigns for President Barack Obama and Texas Congressman Beto O'Rourke, and as the executive director of the Democratic National Committee under U.S. Senator Tim Kaine. Following your graduation from Tufts, you got your start as a junior staffer on the 2000 presidential campaign of Al Gore and on several high-profile U.S. Senate campaigns. One of your many strengths is taking the skills of civic and political engagement and coalition building that you learned at Tufts and channeling them into professional success. In all your campaigns, you have valued and excelled at fieldwork, talking to voters and engaging diverse people and communities across the country in our shared political process. Over the years, you have trained dozens of young staffers in this work, instilling in them both an idealism in our democratic system and a pragmatism of the hard work of campaigning. You have consistently carried on the tough sense of community and civic engagement and have shown consistent commitment to your alma mater throughout your career. You have never forgotten Tufts, where you were a student athlete on the Tufts softball team. In April 2020, you made time for an interview with the Tufts Daily in which you said, "I am absolutely who I am today, in part because of Tufts softball. The leadership experience and being part of teams are a really big part of my background, and Tufts softball was just one of those really critical things about my life." Your nominators emphasize that you have dedicated your career to leading inclusive campaigns for change in the political sector, and your professional, family, and civic lives embody the mission and the ethos for Tufts University and the Tisch College of Civic Life. And we couldn't agree more. On behalf of the Tufts University Alumni Association, we are delighted to grant you with the 2021 Active Citizenship and Public Service Award. Congratulations. Robert Benditson. You received your BA from Tufts University in 1973 and your MBA from Harvard University in 1977. Your commitment and service to Tufts extends far beyond your education. You have been a trustee of the university since 2007 and an international advisor since 1993, as well as chairman of the executive board and advisory board for the Institute for Global Leadership. Growing up in Haverhill, Massachusetts, you learned alongside your father the family furniture business. Over the years, you developed a work ethic that valued commitment, persistence, and resilience. As president of Cabot House, you have overseen the growth of the business that was founded by your great-grandfather. Your many accomplishments include creating the Robert and Joanne Benditson Public Diplomacy Initiative, sponsoring the Institute Scholar, Practitioner, and Residence Fellows Program, endowing the Norris and Marjorie Benditson Education for Public Inquiry and International Citizenship Symposium, and sustaining the China Cross-Cultural Leadership Program. Your support of the Institute of Global Leadership has strengthened opportunities for students to develop their leadership skills. You are praised as an inspiration for your fearlessness in speaking out, lobbying, and advocating for causes that are important to you. On behalf of the Tufts University Alumni Association, it is a great honor to recognize your achievements and dedication to Tufts community values by presenting you with the 2021 Lifetime Service Award. Congratulations.
Hi, my name is Robert Bennetson, recipient of the 2020-2021 Lifetime Achievement Award at Tufts University. I am deeply humbled and deeply thankful for the honor of this award. It captures an over 80-year journey by my family, starting with my father in 1937 matriculating at Tufts. This journey is only made possible by the family and all its members. My wife, Joanne, a double jumbo, and my 3 children, Rebecca, Austin, and Ross. During this time period of over 80 years, our family is committed to the betterment and giving back at Tufts University. The award, again, belongs to the entire family, not just me. It is a great honor to sit before you and be the recipient of this award. It symbolizes many aspects of my life in giving back to community, in giving back to Tufts, and giving back to humanity. Tufts enabled me to work in countries that were much divided, and from Tufts, I learned the respect of all human beings and the respect of countries and the commitment to honor and charity. For this, I am eternally grateful for this award, and I wish to thank my family again, and especially my dad, who graduated in 1941, who was an original member of the Tufts Board of Advisors, athletics, which he had a sole passion in his lifetime. Thank you so much.
Edward Swan, Jr. Ed Swan, you received your BA in Political Science from Tufts University in 1963 and your MBA from the University of Pennsylvania in 1974. A steward for alumni engagement, you have served as trustee of the university, as part of the Alumni Council, and as an advisor of the Friedman School and the School of Arts and Sciences. During your time at Tufts, you were a member of the Interfraternity Council, the African Student Organization, and ROTC Air Force. Your commitment to Tufts has continued through your involvement with the Tufts Admissions Network, Tufts Black Alumni Association, Advocates for Tufts ROTC, and more. You are praised for constantly looking at the generations to come, identifying rising stars and leaders, and helping to elevate them to the next level. On behalf of the Tufts University Alumni Association, it is a great honor to recognize your achievements and dedication to Tufts community values by presenting you with the 2021 Lifetime Service Award. Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Ed Swan, 1963 grad from Tufts. Receiving any sort of award from Tufts was totally unexpected, a wonderful surprise. What particularly makes this day special, meaning the day that the award is physically being given, was that it would have been my father's birthday. My dad died in 1969, fundamentally from stress and overwork. What was the background that shaped me going in Tufts? Basically, my mother and father were college graduates, but whose economic opportunities were seriously limited by race. That was the reality. Both were change agents, though. My mom was involved in desegregating public facilities in Cleveland while in high school. My dad, for many years, headed the NAACP in Detroit. His father was a judge in Detroit, but died when my father was in high school. So my father and his brother raised each other as orphans put themselves through college. My mother had a master's degree. Both of my parents were people of extraordinary ability. My parents made it possible for both my brother and me to attend Tufts. My brother was at Tufts 7 years after I was. A bit about my background: I went to a very middling high school in Detroit. I arrived at Tufts in 1959, the fall of 59, totally sight unseen. I'd never been to the campus. My intro to Tufts was that there were only 2 black male students in my class, and roommates were drawn by lottery at that point. And just by the strangest, almost impossible quirk of fate, the only other black student was my roommate. Well, it turned out that was perfect. Tom, his name was Tom Poole. Tom was a wonderful guy. He'd gone to Andover, absolutely delightful. The other thing that struck me as a little strange when I got to Tufts, I'm totally lost. And I'm at registration, not knowing what to do, what courses to take. And this man walks up to me and says, "You coming out for track?" And I'd run track in high school and was less than good. But he said, "You coming out to track?" And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Well, never seen a colored kid that couldn't run fast." Now, this is my introduction to Tufts. Throughout everything, though, Tufts was wonderful. It broadened my worldview. I met great people, a few. Tom Poole, who was my original roommate, and Wade Gatling and Matt Whitehead became my other roommates. We all, my sophomore year, all moved in together. And Fletcher Hall. And let me put it this way. Had a plane crashed into our room in Fletcher Hall, it would have wiped out almost the entirety of Tufts' black male population. Unfortunately, Matt and Tom died at much too early an age. But there were other people who were just extraordinarily kind to me. There's a person who I've lost touch with, Clark Loth. In my freshman year in Carmichael, I couldn't afford to go home for Thanksgiving. It was too far, too much money, and I needed to study. And Clark just offered me the opportunity to go to his home for Thanksgiving. Clark lived on the Cape. It was an extraordinary act of kindness that I'll never forget. So if Clark ever sees this, I hope we get in touch again. My other roommate, my junior and senior year, Adrian Lichter, wonderful guy. We are still close as friends. I also owe thanks to many people, some of whom I'll mention. Others I may not, and it's just hopefully it won't be a sin of omission. Grant Curtis, who was the financial aid director when I was at Tufts, really made it possible for me to get through Tufts and my brother to get through Tufts. Franklin Patterson, who was the Lincoln Filene Professor of Political Science, for whom I did a thesis. Great man. He opened doors that I didn't even understand I should walk through. Larry Bacow, who was president of Tufts when I was a trustee, who's now president of Harvard. Bernie Harleston, who came to Tufts about the same time as me. I think he was the first black professor on Tufts campus. He was a much beloved human being. I refer to him as Tufts' own Mr. Chocolate Chips. There were others whose names I don't have time to mention, but I owe a lot to all these people. One thing I wanted to do in this video is share part of my vision of what it takes to be a great university. And it's built upon my experience at Tufts, both as a student and subsequently as a trustee, and my experience outside of Tufts. I mean, a great university obviously has scholars doing scholarship. That's a given. But a great university also provides significant, real opportunities for those on campus to monetize their scholarship. That means publishing, that means getting research, scientific research, commercialized. So that means the university really needs to be well organized with funding, networks, and providing exit opportunities in the sense of companies being able to go public. A great university produces people living up to their full potential. That means along the way, providing support without stigma, be it financial support, be it psychological support, be it medical support, to people who need it without them having to ask and feel like they're outsiders. And finally, a great university provides mentorship for its graduates to help its graduates maximize their career potential and to live rich, full lives. What are some of the things I learned at and after Tufts? Number one, work hard. You may not be the smartest person in the room. You can't control that. But you can control the fact that you're the hardest working. Two, if you think you're the smartest person in the room, there's probably too much ego because you're probably not. Three, be flexible. As Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan. And Mike Tyson, for those of you who don't know, was the great prize fighter. Everyone has a plan until I hit him in the mouth. Stuff goes south. Be prepared for it. 4, be kind. You meet the same people when you're strong as you meet when you're vulnerable and need help. 5, cherish those by your side on life's journey. Those who give more than they ask, but you must give them more than they expect. 6, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Listen twice as much as you talk. 7, forgive folks for their offenses against you. Because if you don't, it's like taking a poison and expecting the other person to die. I read it, but I don't have any attribution. That isn't mine. But darn, that's good advice. Thank you to Tufts and all those folks that made the opportunity for my life to be enriched. I appreciate it. Thank you.
On behalf of the Tufts University Alumni Association, I want to thank you for joining us for the 2021 Alumni Awards ceremony. We are tremendously impressed by the achievements and passion of our honorees, and we are proud to have you among our ranks. Congratulations to the award recipients, and thank you so much for attending today.